Jericho, what do you think is going to happen with pet food in 2022? He's like, I don't care. Hey friends, it's Jess and Jericho, and my first big pet food prediction for 2022 is upcycled ingredients. So upcycled is basically recycling something that would be thrown away and using it to make something new. There are already some cat treats that are using upcycled sweet potatoes. Now, technically, sweet potatoes aren't part of the cat's natural diet, but I mean, I guess it's a good way to use ugly produce that would otherwise be thrown away. Let me know in the comments, do you judge your produce based on its looks? But I think that Big Pet Food is going to use this to their advantage and talk about byproducts and rendered ingredients like 4D meats, dead, diseased, dying, and disabled. I think they're going to start saying that it's an upcycled ingredient. And that's definitely not a good thing, because taking diseased and decaying meat and making it into pet food isn't really making something better out of it. The second prediction that I have for 2022 and Big Pet Food, I think that they're going to try to convince us that cats are omnivores. So there's already a study by one of these big pet food manufacturers, and they try to test to see how many carbs cats can actually handle. Like, what is the most amount that they can digest properly? And they do this because carbohydrates are required in kibble, because that's what holds the ingredients together. That's what gives the kibble shape. And plant-based ingredients are just cheaper than meat. So, of course, they're going to use plant-based ingredients instead of raising the amount of meat-based ingredients. There's also a lot of vegan pet foods on the rise, and if you've watched any of my other videos, you already know my view on this subject. Cats are obligate carnivores. Feeding your cat a plant-based diet just isn't going to offer that vitality when compared to a fresh meat-based diet. And again, this is a problem because plant-based foods are going to be high in carbohydrates, and carbohydrates can lead to things like obesity, and obesity alone puts your cat at a much higher risk for very serious health issues. And even meat-based, if you can call it that, meat-based kibble is very high in carbohydrates. The average that I've found among 80 different brands is 33%, which is a very, very significant increase from the cat's natural diet. So if you think about it, kibble's like already basically meat-flavored granola. Do you know how many carbs are in your cat's food? I actually have a carb calculator on my website. It's in the description below. Give me a polydactyl thumbs up if you've used the calculator and you know how many carbs are in your cat's food. The next 2022 prediction I have for Big Pet Food is using lab-grown, or they call it cultured meat. So instead of using animals, they're going to use man-made meat. I think this is already a thing with human foods, but I personally think that it's much more natural to feed real meat. I've never had lab-cultured meat before. I don't know, let me know in the comments if you have. And going off of this alternative proteins, we're probably going to see more insect-based cat foods. There's already a couple different insect-based cat foods on the market, and I did a separate video about that. And insects are part of the cat's natural diet, but they would have to eat like millions and millions of bugs to get the bulk of their nutrition. Think of an insect as like a little protein snack. It's not like, you know, cat doesn't eat all of his food is all of his insect. It's mostly whole prey. And I understand the environmental concerns and also the inhumane practices that a lot of manufacturers and slaughterhouses practice. I think the best approach really is to support small family businesses that actually practice humane husbandry, and they actually care about the nutritional needs of your cat. So that's why I personally buy Jericho's food from a farm that sources from local farms, and they are USDA and FDA inspected. They have a lot of educational resources on their website, so you can really tell that they know what they're doing and they care about feeding your cat naturally. My fourth prediction for 2022 with pet food is actually positive, and I think there's going to be more fresh food options, both raw and lightly cooked. There are even script diets that are coming around for fresh food, again, raw and lightly cooked. So I think the more we learn about it and the more veterinarians that kind of take a step back and realize that this processed food all the time isn't that great. For example, there's the Raw Feeding Veterinary Society. They have conferences every year and a great 2021 position statement. I'm actually a supporting member, and so I attend their virtual conferences. They have a lot of great information on feeding cats and dogs raw meaty bone diet, a fresh, natural-based diet. And they're all vets. They're doing this in practice. They're working one-on-one with clients, and they're seeing great results. So that's just one example. There are many other vets that are kind of realizing that fresh food is probably the better option than overly processed dry cereal. So if you're one of those that want to switch to raw, check out this playlist right over Mya. It's my raw food playlist for beginners. Thanks for watching.